look at it like this, not to cut you off.
No, cut me off.
If you look at like the successful people that have, when you look at Master P, when you look at Baby, Slim, one of the things that they had, why their deals are so legendary, is that they had leverage. They was independent and they had money. They had money. They had clout. They was moving units out their trunk at their time. So when they approach a label, it's like, look, I already got money. I can already do this myself. I'm self-sufficient. You can help because you do have a reach that I don't have. But if worse comes to worse, I could just stay in Louisiana and make $1 million a month.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I always look at it like whenever negotiating, the person who's willing to walk away is always going to have more leverage.
Yes.
But that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of leg work. And I feel like that happens in the 90s. You're not really seeing a lot now. Like you've seen some artists like Russ. There are some independent artists now. But it's kind of like you would think that all of that happened in the 90s. The whole game would be like that.
This is what they did to us. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Most things, you got to remember, most things that rappers know was told to them. They ain't reading nothing. They ain't going to, lipstick, alley or something and looking on no blogs and reading or no type of scientist, nothing. They just, most things they know were told to them. So they tricked us. They told us that was the wrong deal. I always argue that P and Baby had the right deal. That's the way the deal supposed to go. But they've tricked us into thinking, no, we deserve more. No, we had it wrong with Master P. What do you mean the 80-20? Well, he done everything. What was wrong about that? Yeah. Y'all didn't make as much, but to me, that's what a deal supposed to look like. Yeah. But again, they beat it in our heads because you got to think. We come off of the TLC. We come off the Salt and Peppers and all of those people doing those deals to run into the 90s and P and them do that. Yeah. And Baby and them do that. And it's like, yo, they finally got it right, but they hurry up and threw blankets over that. Like, that's the wrong deal. You can't get that. You'll never see a deal. Like, it was a lot of that rhetoric going around. You'll never see a deal like that. That's not right. 80-20, how did he do that? The greatest... I argue that that's the right deal. But when we deal with leverage, like somebody like me doing a podcast or somebody with a business, to me, business may be a little harder to get off the ground like a mom and pop soul food restaurant or something like that. But dealing with podcasting, like for me, 200,000 people listen. If you in a situation like that, but you don't know how did you guys structure your part? Well, you guys are business guys. How did you, where was the first person that gave y'all the opportunity from an ad standpoint or cut y'all a check from the podcasting or from a show? Who's the first check y'all got?
Yeah, I'm going to let him talk, but I wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
So, all right, this leverage thing is extremely important because it's like, for us, we have a lot of leverage because we don't need the money.
Right.
One of the mistakes that podcasters make is that they put too much emphasis on ad revenue. Ad revenue is great, but that's not the only way to get paid. So to answer your question, the first people that cut us a check for ad revenue was Anchor, which was a free app that we used to blast our podcast out, and they pretty much published it to Spotify, Apple, and all of those.
Like a distributor.
Yeah.
Distribution.
So they give us ads, and it was a 70-30 split, 70% our way, 30% their way. It was cool. But that was the first, and then YouTube. So we had the content on YouTube, which was different from that.
Right.
And then, YouTube, we got the AdSense from YouTube.
Right.
But what really, separated us from everybody else in the podcast game is that, like you said, being in the financial space, there's a lot of different ways to monetize.
Right.
So, we have like the live event space. So the live events was big for us before Corona. Now it's picking up again. So the live events is a huge way to monetize. Merch, stuff that we wear every day.
Right.
So
I got something for y'all actually too, man.
Yeah.
Speaking about
Appreciate that.
I need to get with y'all, get some of that too. Continue, my bad.
The merch is definitely a big revenue for us. So, and then also from the education standpoint, so now it's like, all right, we got the free education, which we kind of like say is like public school. Mm-hmm. That's YouTube, that's Instagram.
And it's so dope how
all
y'all
of that
structured this shit.
Yeah, that's so. But then it's like some people just want to be part of a community. Some people want more a hands-on approach. So that's the private school. So that's EYL University. right? So
Y'all kicking major flames.
We not done yet. We not done yet.
Continue. I'm sorry. But I gotta keep giving you your flag because
Nah, 'cause they gonna be like,
I'm seeing it.
How did they get all this?
Yeah,
Hey,
we need this
keep
though.
going.
All these podcasts, cause they watch me, cause they think they stealing.
Yeah.
See, when they watch me, they think they coming to steal my talking points and say them something. They think they stealing, but they don't know it's part of my game. For you to run off, man, they gonna come back and get this. Cause when they get this, they gonna come get. They gonna like y'all.
That's the game. Like you telling
Man,
them.
I'm going right somewhere after
Yeah,
this. Continue
yeah.
though.
so that was a big thing for
So
us.
public school, private school.
Yep. We learned about Patreon. So that was a way to actually, it's a financial way to support creatives.
Right.
So you give like extra bonuses, like, maybe like a FaceTime call with like the highest level Patreon. They might pay like $100 a month and they could connect with you once a month.
Right.
Or they get some merch or they get tickets to a show. So that's another way to actually monetize the situation.
Now that all depends on. I can do that with my following. But a up and coming without a big, well, you could do that with 20
1,000%.
people.
We didn't even know. Like, so this is the crazy part about Patreon. We didn't even know what it was. Somebody asked in a comment. I was reading the comments. Say like, "Yo, are y'all on Patreon?" And I googled it. And I'm like,
Oh, there's
"Yo, we should be on
something else.
Patreon."
Yeah.
And so we created a tier system. We structured it around hip hop, and we're like, "All right, well, this is what you get at each tier."
Right.
And so people joined that because number one, they got access to us in the early days.
Right.
Like we calling people, having conversations, and giving them financial advice.
Right.
But also they got to see some behind the scenes early on, like before everybody.
Right. See, that's what I'm
And so,
saying.
like, what it does, like, it was like, all right, well, now there's a community. So, like, they get some things that are exclusive. And so we know, like, all right, they must have came from Patreon because there's nowhere else that can get. They can get that. And so that was another way to get some. But what you just said was the key, right? Like, we giving the information out.
Right.
That's how you build community.
Right.
Because once you hear the information, you're going to tell them, like, you know where I heard it from? I got to go back to them.